It's that time again. It's time for the VCB podcast with your host, Jason Smith and Ronaldo Villarreal. Episode number 4. Feeling it. Hey, we got a great episode for you today. We are going to talk about our independence and how important that is. And we've got a great interview coming up in the second half, so you don't want to turn this off early. You're going to want to listen to this episode all the way through. But to kick things off, to get things started, let's bring in the man himself, the one, the only, Lennox. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. It's Ray. Hi, Ray.
How's it going, Jason?
Lennox is here, though.
He didn't even jump. Did you notice that?
No, he didn't even respond.
Our guest speaker got him wild up and then got all his energy out. So I thank you to our guest speaker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now he's just chill.
And we were just talking about it because of that. We were talking about Lennox growth. So for those who don't know, Lennox has been a part of this, not since day one, but first season.
First season for sure.
It's like episode 3 he was introduced, I think.
Yeah, because no, 3 or 4.
3 or 4. It was around there that we introduced Lennox, the mascot, to the VCB podcast. Yeah.
You say mascot now, that makes me rethink our thing that we're working on.
Oh, maybe kind of adding that. You're talking about that?
Yeah.
Maybe. We might have to revisit
Anyways.
that. Yeah. We're going to get sidetracked again. No, but hey, we want to we always start off reminding you to please don't hesitate to head over to myvcb.org, find the calendar, stay up to date on everything that's happening here at VCB, community calls, coffee with Alvin, book club with Tom,
game night,
lunch bunch, game night.
Ooh, lunch bunch.
If you're a young adult, we have a young adult community group.
The YA group now.
Yeah, the YA group. That's important.
A lot of rumble about that YA group.
It's starting to pick up.
It's starting to pick up, and especially this summertime.
Oh, we got. Yeah,
oh my gosh! I just thought of it. It's summertime.
It's summertime.
Nathaniel's his preschool promotion is coming up. I'm a little sad as a dad, but I'm proud of him.
Dude, this is just phase 1, bro.
Oh my gosh!
Coming from experience, trust me, enjoy and take in every moment because it just gets sadder and sadder and sadder as they get older.
He still wants dad, so that makes me happy at that part. But yeah, growth. I think that's the thing right now. Growth. In every aspect of what's happening in our lives right now, especially at the agency.
Well, you're just playing right into the theme today, ain't you?
Yeah, I'm over here skipping. We still have all those groups, people. Yeah,
and also summertime, right?
Summertime.
Adaptive Sports Summer Camp is back. So if you've never experienced summer camp and you're interested on what that looks like for you, contact Jamie. Contact your case manager, Jillian, Destiny.
Just call the center.
And we'll get you on the list. We're starting to go through all that right now and starting to put that together. It will be for late July and early August. So
I saw some fishing in there, some mountain biking.
There's so many
kayaking,
amazing things.
Paddleboarding. Get in the water.
My video camera following you everywhere you go. I look forward to all that stuff. It's so fun.
All that.
I love the storytelling.
I'm excited for the summer for people here.
Yeah, and again, like he was saying, it's watching the growth of the center, but watching the growth of our clients,
and just the amount of just amazing things that are happening to our clients and our agency and our staff and just, our family as well. Things that just keep changing. I was just on a meeting earlier this week and it just, we reflect on how much we have come from, like where we started and where we are now as an agency. Mm-hmm. It just gives me goosebumps. I'm already using that word goosebumps a lot. It's just, I want people to understand the impact and the feels that we're getting,
the vibes
that we're going through. We're as an agency, it's our 50th anniversary.
50th anniversary.
We're getting closer to that actual date of when Valley Center for the Blind it originally started as Friendship Center for the Blind. Mm-hmm. We just keep reflecting as leadership and teams and individuals. It's like, oh, I remember when we started this. I remember that. Our guest speaker, she came in and she's going to share a wonderful story. And it's like,
and it's amazing too to see, like, it started off like client. Hey, this client went through. Now it's like client/employee, because that's the other major part of the growth of Valley Center for the Blind, is from community or friendship center for the blind,
friendship center for the
all
blind,
the way to Valley Center for the Blind, the rehab place, to now it's not just, it's both those and it's employment services and the job opportunities, just the skills and everything that we're teaching, put it into use, practical use for everyday life has been amazing.
Yeah. And added that community that we're still continuing to move or bring from, our original roots, is that community aspect as well, the social groups and the support groups. It's amazing. But yeah.
And growth is so important, because we were talking about like what should we talk about in the first half of the podcast, and I'm just like, growth.
Yeah.
Like growth, right? Like growth as an agency, growth as individuals. We were talking earlier today, and we were talking about the amazing feeling it is not only to go through the services, but the growth that continues outside.
Yes.
And being part of community is a big part of that, because we support one another. And then you have the rehab side of it, where instructors that have been through it before help you. And then the life afterwards, which is employment, building that community through employment and all the different areas we have here, plus continually, it's just like, it is a family here. And to hear people talk about it just blows me away every time.
Yeah, every time I hear somebody's new story, and I really want to get, I don't always say this, but I want to get to the aspect, or get to the interview.
Yeah.
Because I'm excited for the listeners to hear this interview. But we're a rehab center. We train in AT, ILS, and O&M and all additional things. But at the end of the day, we're just trying to help somebody in life.
I know it's hard, because we want to talk, because we did things. Sometimes we do things backwards around here, and we're recording this after we had the interview. But yeah, we can't wait for you guys to hear the story that you're going to hear in this episode. But it reminds me of how independence never stops.
Never.
Like whether or not we're constantly focused on our own personal independence and how we can grow as individuals, but more importantly, how people view our community and how instantly they're looking to see how they can be a part of making your life more independent. It just blows my way. It just, like, I don't know. There's not so much more we could say without letting the person speak themselves. But, it is about growth, and it is about community, and it is about 50 years of this place putting that together. And I think the thing that excites me the most about when you think about growth in the agency, right? It never stops.
Never.
It never stops. The conversation is always being had of what's our next move. It's never that, okay, yeah, well, we accomplished this, we accomplished that. I'll listen to all these people say they've got everything they need. We're perfect. No, we're not perfect.
Not even close.
Right? And we're continuing that fight every single day to make changes.
Yeah, because there's more people out there that we want to impact in their lives and just build that independence. And we'll turn every rock if we can to find an opportunity to support.
And this would be a great opportunity, too, just to remind everybody the importance of advocacy. I could say that right?
Yeah, advocacy. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. I forgot about that.
Because I think that's one of the most impactful things that we could learn from our own independence, is making sure, because this conversation came up several times in this past few weeks for me, to where it's like, it's not so much about you, right? We don't advocate for ourselves per se. Sometimes you're like, what about all these young kids coming up, right?
Yeah.
We're now in a phase of our sight loss and our positions and what we do in our community, that we're paving that way for those to come up, to not have to do the struggles like we do. Just like for the past 49 years, there was people leading us and making, the services I received here, Ray, was because someone else went through it and someone else created that ahead of me.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
I hear you. And actually, you just chimed into something that reminded me of something. It's like I got an opportunity. Oh my gosh, I'm getting all my months mixed up. I think it
was this May. It was May. Yeah,
it was May. I got an opportunity to go to the National Industries for the Blind's advocacy for leadership training. I've been gracefully able to participate in and accepted into that program and learn how to advocate in behalf of our agency and our individuals at a federal level. An opportunity to speak at the Capitol and speak to congressmen and congresswomen and senators and representatives of our state. And the one thing that they tell you in training that always sticks with me, I know this is my second year doing this, and it goes back to what we were saying, is your story matters.
Yeah.
Your story matters. Even if you think it's something just so small, your story matters because you have an impact in this community in some way.
100%.
And again, I repeat that to everyone out there. You matter, your story matters, and what you do with that also will support our community in advocating for growth. So please feel free, to always share your story. Even if you think it's small, it will impact. I guarantee it.
Regardless of how big the story is, how small the story is, it's going to help somebody.
Yep.
It's going to help somebody. It could be your local liquor store at the corner that you're advocating for. You'll be surprised when someone goes in there for a soda or,
or just
a candy bar.
Or something, it's.
And how they're treated will matter because of what you taught that owner.
Yeah, I can tell you my local corner store, I grew up with that in that corner, or in that neighborhood, and that store owner knows me, and he knows my visual impairment, and he knows lighting is a very important thing. And when they had an opportunity to, remodel their storefront, they did, and they included a lot of lighting. They included a lot of accessible crosswalks to get through from it's a small corner store, but it's still highlighted in the accessibility of in being able to safely cross over to the street into the parking lot into the store. And I can say that I never thought of it as me when I was younger going to this store. And I'm sorry, this is a little small segue, but
you're good. This is perfect.
I've always walked there, and I used my cane at times, and I've always had my brother. And now I'm not going to, but I know for a fact that there's multiple individuals that have a visual impairment that live in this same area and they actually, they go to this store as well now. Mm-hmm. And I've never, addressed them anything, but from what I saw, from where it originally started to where it is now, I made an impact in that way, and I'm not trying to tote myself or pat the shoulder in the back or whatever.
I'll toot your horn, bro.
But I feel confident that those store owners and the individuals that help run that store, they have an awareness of that community, our blind and low vision community, because I started off in there, and I guarantee that they get at least they're aware of, hey, we have some individuals that may not be able to see completely. We may need to ask them if they need assistance.
I think this is a great segue into the interview because, I'm going to make this statement and we'll segue into our interview. But, the best part, there's so many different levels to independence, right? There's independence in the kitchen. There's independence on your computer. There's independence at your workplace, maybe at school. But just simply put, our independence out in the community makes such a huge impact because, like you just said, Ray, your independence, your ability to get out, go to this liquor store since you were a little boy, has now created a place that is accessible for others that are going through the same thing. Mm-hmm. And that just does it. That transfers over to other disabilities too. That's not just blindness. Mm-hmm. So we're in this fight together. So kudos, man. I mean, that is, you should toot your own horn.
I honestly just thought of that right now. Like where is it in a part of my life that I feel like advocacy was a part of it, and independence, and how that, for me, from the story that those individuals, again, that store owner saw me when I was, as 8 years old. And then when I, was able to legally, purchase some alcohol at the time, but
Sure.
They saw my visual impairment, and they always ask me questions, and and now I can say that, I'm proud to say that I know that store has awareness of our community.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And it's a great segue. Please, everybody, stay tuned. You're going to want to hear this interview, and we'll see you guys next month. We appreciate you guys, and just enjoy the interview. And I don't know, Ray, independence is a beautiful thing.
It definitely is.
And we're a month away before Independence Day. So I look forward to July's podcast.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
All right, everybody, stay tuned. Enjoy the interview with someone who is really showing her independence and where she got it from. Stay tuned. It's that time again. It's time for VCB Stories. Joining me today is obviously Ronaldo Villarreal. What's up, Ray?
How's it going?
And we have an exciting guest today, Ray. We have an amazing story from an amazing person who has taken VCB by storm and has done so many things. But before she became an employee, she was a client. I'd like to welcome in Vanessa Valenzuela. Vanessa, how are you?
Good. Very good. Thank you.
All right. Vanessa, I want to start off by just, letting the audience know a little bit about you and what brought you to VCB, but also what's your eye condition?
So in 2021, I started to lose vision in my eyes due to diabetic retinopathy. I lost vision in my left eye, and then I lost vision in my right eye. And then I had a cataract surgery, and I got some vision back in my left eye. So I'm blind in my right eye and have limited vision in my left eye.
Okay. One of the most important questions we like to ask around here is, how did you find VCB? Because that's always been the conundrum for us, is tracking where people find out about the agency. Was it from your
Eye doctor?
Eye doctor? Was it from your diabetes doctor? Because you have diabetes, so that was part of it, right?
Actually, it's a really interesting story. So I have been going to Fresno City College for several years now to get my degree in paralegal. And I ran into a student when I first lost vision in my left eye, and she had visual issues as well.
I remember this.
She was a little bit more advanced than I was. And she gave me the VCB card. And she was like, you should really check out, this facility, and they have, they have training and things. And I was like, okay, but I still had vision in one eye. So I just kind of threw the card on my desk, didn't think anything of it. And then when I lost vision in both eyes, my mom was like, where's that card?
Yeah.
We need to call.
Yeah.
So we found the card and we called, and I spoke to someone, and they told me, to go through the Department of Rehabilitation. So I did that, and then I ended up getting training for mobility, ILS, and assistive technology here.
By the way, I want to shout out VCB's own Deborah Mock. Deborah
I
Mock
just
is
have
the
some
one.
goosebumps right now,
Yeah.
just hearing that from Vanessa. I've never heard that before.
You know?
I never heard that.
I've heard
that's
that
how your
story.
referral got to VCB. That just
Yeah.
gave me some really
Yeah.
goosebumps right now.
And if
That's
everybody
awesome.
remembers, we had Deborah on last year, almost a year to the day, almost, because
That's the
she
graduation.
graduated from Fresno City College and got her paralegal degree. So, and ironically enough, ain't you doing the same thing now too?
Yep. Yeah, I got the spring of 2024, I'll be graduating.
Wow.
Awesome.
This is awesome.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Vanessa has an amazing story. She's really accomplished a lot, just in life, but even since your vision loss, you've taken it pretty much head on, and you've been pretty positive. What has been your experience going through that? Was it a tough transition for you? Because your story, a lot like a lot of us, you lost a career out of it, right?
Yes, I had I had my dream job, actually. I had just started my dream job right before I lost my vision. I was managing pharmacies up and down the West Coast with a company, and I loved it. I loved traveling. I loved driving up and down the state and visiting new places. We were actually extending to Hawaii and Nevada, and I was looking forward to traveling. And actually on the job is when I started having vision problems. And I was driving and I was starting to lose vision. And the next day I lost it. I just lost it like that.
Wow.
So it was pretty crazy. I went through like 6 months of like hardcore depression. Just didn't want to get out of bed. I mean, just crying, just thinking, this is it. I can't do anything anymore. Like I can't do my job. I can't travel. Never going to see my kids, my grandkids, weddings, graduations. Like it was awful. And my mom actually is the one that came in and kind of kicked me in the butt and said, get up, get out of bed, do something. I don't care what you do, but you need to get out. You can't stay here. You can't just hide away.
Yeah.
And we found that card, and then I realized that there's a whole community of people exactly like me that went through the same thing or similar things or worse things, and they're thriving and they're continuing their lives and education. And I was like, okay, this is not the end. This is just another direction to go.
It's a new chapter of your life, completely a new story.
Yeah.
Yep. And one of the reasons we're here today too is because we're celebrating our 50th year anniversary, and our focus this month is ILS. And it was funny because I was like, I got to find somebody to interview. I got to find somebody that just went through ILS, that understands it. And just by chance, you started sharing with me why you liked ILS or your experience. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're perfect. Can I get you to speak into a microphone? You graciously said yes. So it's fine.
And for the listeners, ILS stands for Independent Living Skills. Just want to throw that out there because we tend to do that sometimes here at this
we
agency.
get used to our acronyms. Yeah. And there's plenty of them around here.
Oh my gosh. I have to have a dictionary now for all the acronyms.
Yeah, exactly. I have to write a book.
But anyways, I apologize.
No, you're good. You're good. So go ahead and share with everybody why ILS meant so much to you. Why it really impacted your life.
Well, when I was sighted, I was the main person that did all of the cooking for my family, and it wasn't a chore. It was something I loved to do. My father's a chef. My mom always made homemade meals, and for me, it's just something I enjoyed doing. Feeding my family, feeding my kids, knowing that I was providing them with a meal. Even if it was just dinner, it was important for me to cook for them. And when I lost my vision, I felt helpless. I felt useless. Like I can't even feed my kids. I can't feed my husband. It was awful. And when I started ILS training, my trainer, Crystal, who is amazing, had asked me, like, what do you want to start with? What's the most important thing to start with? And I said, cooking. I want to cook. I want to go back to cooking. I want to be able to feed my family again. That's the most important thing. Cleaning and managing and organizing, that's important, but I wanted to be able to cook for my family. And after completing the training and being able to do that again, I felt like I was back to normal. I felt like I was 100% again. It made me whole is what it did, because I was able to do that task of feeding my family. That was incredibly important. It was empowering.
So Vanessa, how long did it take to get into the kitchen? Because I know from our curriculum, and we don't just straight shoot you into the kitchen right away. So was that something that Crystal or used as a motivation for you to get through some of these the other activities, or how did that work out?
I think with Crystal's approach, which I appreciated, was she asked me what I wanted to learn. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like, I'm going to teach you A, I'm going to teach you B, I'm going to teach you C. It was like, what is important to you to learn? And so because my focus was learning how to cook, that's what we focused on right away. But she also integrated things like cleaning while I was cooking. Oh, okay. So I kind of learned both. And I never learned more than I could handle. Mm-hmm. We took it slow. We took it step by step. She showed me how to maneuver in the kitchen. She showed me how to use different utensils in the kitchen. properly without burning myself, without hurting myself. Like, obviously, she went through it step by step. It wasn't rushed. It was at my own pace. You know, she answered all the questions that I had. And Jason, you know me, I have a million questions.
Did you send her an email list too of like 100?
At times, yeah. Okay. I would send her an email letting her know, like, hey, this is what I want to learn how to cook. And I was grateful that she also took the time to ask me what I wanted to cook. You know, she wasn't teaching me things that I'm never going to make. She was helping me learn how to cook things that I cooked on a daily basis before, which made it so much easier because I would remember, oh yeah, this is what I used, this is what I did. And she just showed me how to modify it to where I could do it with my visual issues and still be able to cook the meal. So it was like I said, I really appreciate her technique because not only was I able to go at my own pace, but it was useful. They were useful techniques for me, customized to me.
Yeah, that's the one of the perks about our agency and how we service and train our clients is we will focus on that one-on-one aspect and getting to know our clients that way and finding out what their needs are, you know, and we tailor the service that way. So that's awesome. How was it when you first started? I know a lot of times it's intimidating as, you know, being newly visually impaired or blind and learning that we use a gas stove here. A lot of times people will get scared about the gas stove. So how was your experience in adjusting to getting back to have that confidence in cooking?
When I first started, I was terrified. And Crystal will attest to that. I was afraid to plug things in. I was afraid to turn the stove. I mean, I have a gas stove at home. I was afraid to use it. Everything was terrifying. But like I said, you know, we went at a slow pace, and you know, she was encouraging. The whole program was encouraging, but she was encouraging, especially, you know, letting me know that I can do this. You know, giving me that confidence, talking me through it, being understanding and patient, and you know, not judgmental. The fact that she's also visually impaired, you know, makes a huge difference because it's different. You know, we understand when you're visually impaired, you understand each other. Yeah. You understand the fear, you understand the hesitation, and so because of that, she was able to give me that confidence and build up that confidence to where I was able to start, you know, plugging things in on my own. And she didn't let me slack off either. There wasn't any like, oh, you know, like, oh no, I can't do it, Crystal, you do it. And no, she was like, hey, you have to try. You have to, you know, it's going to be okay. You'll be able to do it. And I did. And I don't think I would have been able to if she hadn't been there to encourage me and motivate me to, you know, to do what I needed to do to succeed.
Shout out to our own Crystal Castillo real quick. Crystal, you know, I'm going to make sure that you listen to this podcast because you're getting a lot of love right now, and it's well-deserved. Ray, I know you know what that feeling's like when you put in so much work in helping somebody and giving them the tools, and then to hear the feedback. I've been in meetings in rooms where people have given you feedback. So, Crystal, you know, I'm gonna let Ray say a little bit about that because I know he knows the feeling. But this is a moment for you as well as Vanessa, as for what you've been doing for the agency.
No, I totally agree, Jason. It's a really good job that Crystal's doing. But as an instructor, you know, what we feel is that we feel prideful of how much independence has been built in our students. You know, we're not here to you know, it's not for us. You know, we do this because we're giving back. Because we know what we've been through, and that's one of the benefits of our agencies. You know, most of our, I think all of our instructors here have a type of visual impairment.
Yep.
So for me to hear the things that, you know, you're saying, Vanessa, about Crystal, you know, I know that feeling as an AT instructor in the past, you know, hearing the same comments in the sense it's because you took the effort and you stepped up and you faced that challenge. And that's what makes us as instructors, do what we do. You know, it's not, we do it because we want to see people like you come in here and just tackle that and have that independence because, you know, Crystal, you know, has her own children as well. And she's a mom and she knows that feeling, you know, and she's visually impaired. So we want to give you that same, and everyone that comes through that ability to have the ability to feel like they're useful for something, because everyone is useful for something. Everybody has a purpose, right?
100%. 100%.
Our eye conditions or our impairments are just a barrier. They're not something that's going to hold us back, though.
We just got to learn to do it a different way. So what was that moment for you? What was that meal that you and Crystal cooked that was like you were finally like, I'm back. I'm me. I can't wait to go home and make this for my family too.
I think it was it was the rice.
Okay.
And she'll laugh. She'll laugh because I can't cook rice to save my life. I couldn't do it when I was sighted, and when I tried to do it as a visually impaired person, it was just as tough. But she walked me through the steps, and she helped me find ways to make it easier for me to do it. And when I finally did it and cooked it, I was like, yes, I can do this. And I went home and I practiced. And that was the thing too. It wasn't just coming here and practicing with Crystal and then that's it. She encouraged me, go home and practice, go home and try.
Yeah.
And because that's the only way you're really going to learn is if you keep doing it. And she's like, yeah, you're going to mess up. There's going to be times where the rice is too hard or the rice is too mushy, but it's okay. It's, you just keep trying until you get it right. And now I can make rice because of Crystal. And
That's pretty awesome.
Can we clarify on this? Because I'm interested. Is this Mexican rice?
Yeah,
Yes.
Spanish rice.
Yes.
But
Spanish
I mean,
rice.
I can't make any kind of rice, but
Oh my
Spanish rice, I now
It's
I
even
can
more.
make.
It's a challenge for anyone. Ask any Latin American Hispanic individual. Learning how to master the Spanish rice it's just an art.
There's so many different ways to do it.
Yeah.
So many different ways. So you saying that, Vanessa, it's like I've been there. I've literally been there where the crunchy
Yes.
and I had my mom, who fully sighted Hispanic, try to teach me how to cook rice, and it's a challenge. So for you to tackle that as well, and like you said, it takes practice.
Yeah.
A lot of times we tell our students is not, yes, you're not just here for one day at the agency. You're here for a long time, and you got to take those trainings and take them home with you and implement them in your life to make sure that they actually mean something to you. We don't want to train you or teach you something that doesn't actually help you in some way or another. So, but yeah, I get that Spanish rice. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Another thing that intrigues me too, and I'm curious because I don't know how long it was in between you losing your sight and not being able to cook for your family. How did your family take the idea that now you can? How did they respond to that? They threw the microwave away?
I mean, we ate out a lot,
Yeah.
more than we can afford to, but we didn't have a choice.
That's an
'Cause
American thing.
I got two boys at home,
Yeah.
so it was like cooking for them was like top ramen. That was their cooking. So if I didn't cook, they didn't eat. So they were grateful. They
Yeah.
were grateful that I was back in the kitchen. And at first, my son or my husband would supervise or help out. My son wants to be a chef as well, so he's in the kitchen with me a lot, helping me chop vegetables or helping me measure things until I could learn how to do it on my own. And they were happy. They were grateful that I could do it. And at one point I was like, okay, you don't have to be here. I can do it. I'm able to do it, manage it on my own. And they're like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I can do this on my own. And so yeah, they were just grateful to have home cooked meals again.
Yeah, I would be too.
Yeah, no, I know about that. I've been in a sense blessed in some sense. If you look at it this way, I've known about my visual impairment since I was little. So my parents have been able to adapt to that, and being able to know that that things are doable. But even still, like that challenge with the family are they going to be okay? Like for me, my good example of this for ILS is, learning how to, cook on a grill, like a barbecue grill. That I was like, even for me was a little terrifying. And my family said the same thing. It's like, are you sure are you able to do this? And it took us several times to show them, but, eventually they're like, oh, yeah, he is able to do that. And especially with your kids, you have older kids, Vanessa, as I know. I have younger kids, and it's an important thing for the kids to still see mom and dad and do these normal tasks, because it's what gets them to be able to grow up and say, oh, well, mom did it, dad does it, so for your sons to, see that you're still able to do it, they will carry that with them their whole life, so it's really nice to hear that your kids are still helping you in the kitchen and looking, at you and being able to say, yeah, mom's doing it. So, it's nothing different.
And I think that's the untold story, right? That's pretty cool. Like, how do you feel as a mom to know that, if anything, you've showed your family, your kids, that there's nothing that we can't get through, that you overcame something that was holding you back, right? Like, it's one lesson that I think I even take for granted when it comes to my kids, right? So what's your feeling about being able to show your kids, hey, never give up, you can overcome everything?
I don't think I focused so much on that as I have on teaching my kids empathy.
Yeah.
And understanding.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've always told my kids, you can do whatever you want as long as you try, as long as you put all your heart into it, and you can succeed. But I think empathy was something that I didn't focus on a lot, and they learned that by watching me and seeing me need help, and helping me, and I'm a very strong person. I've always been a very strong person, and I don't like asking for help. I don't like having to depend on somebody else. So when I lost my vision, it was incredibly hard to have to depend on other people to do things. And so my son would take it upon himself to do things for me, and that really showed a lot of empathy and understanding. And when he started to see, okay, that I can do things on my own, he realizes that, I'm stronger. I'm a stronger person now. And that it's possible to do things. But also asking for help is, sometimes people don't know how to do it. Sometimes you have to reach out and offer help. And that's something that I've taught my kids. Is with this vision loss, is that instead of waiting for people to ask for help, sometimes you need to just offer it. Offer help, offer that hand, and a lot of times they take it. They need it. They're just too proud or too afraid to ask. So I think that's an important lesson that they learned through all of this.
Yeah, definitely. I hear you on that for sure, because it's as a society, American society, we're trained, typically to, it's a bad thing to ask for help. But that stigma needs to be broken, and it's starting to be broken in this society, which I'm seeing. But like you said, sharing that with your sons and your family as well. It's an amazing thing. It's building character in them for the future. And getting them prepared for life. And we need more positivity like that in this world. So I'm. Again, as a parent myself, having two little ones, they act big now. Shoot, I don't know about them, but
it only gets worse.
That's what everybody keeps telling me, and I'm like, I'm seeing it with my daughter. That's one I heard it before, but it's one thing is to hear it and then actually see it or go through it. That goes for everything.
Maybe you're just feeling that way because you're wearing a Spider-Man headset. I don't know.
Okay.
He had to bring that up.
I had to.
He had to throw that in there somewhere. If you would have, well, never mind. I'm going to keep it positive over here.
But for the record, I told you I love the headset. I think it's awesome.
It feels good.
I'm a Spider-Man guy. But.
Yeah. So, but I'm what my point is here is like, yes, it's not a bad thing to ask for help, but it is also if someone sees that someone needs some assistance, and it doesn't have to be someone with a visual impairment. It could just be, you're, a neighbor that's trying to pull the trash cans out, and they're struggling because they're juggling things, or, family. You see a mom with their 3 kids in the store and trying to handle something. As a society, we should just be able to see something and do something. That's a model we're teaching, or we're creating as a culture here at the agency as well. See something, do something, and that just goes for everything. But Vanessa, again, I'm glad that you that's something that's important for your value in your family.
Yeah, and before we run out of time too, I asked this question to all the guests that we have. If there was one thing that you could share with the audience or anybody that's going through sight loss, what would you tell them to motivate them, to inspire them to take the next step and get the help and become more independent?
That's a good question.
Love asking it. I always get everybody off guard when I do it.
This place for me was life-changing. It was ultimately life-changing. I don't know where I would be if I hadn't found the VCB, because it's not just the training and it's not just the encouragement, it's the community here. I think the most important thing is that you're not alone. I'm not alone, that there's people here that understand what I'm going through. Like I said, they've gone through it, or they've gone through worse, or they've gone through similar. And it's a community. It's a family. It's very important to have that support system. And with it, you can really achieve anything. It's not going to be the same life that you had, but it's doable. It's livable. It's enjoyable. We play games. We have podcasts. We, watch movies with the audio description. These are things I learned here.
Yeah.
That I don't know if I would have learned anywhere else. And also to be able to lean on each other here has been life-changing as well. To communicate my feelings and what I'm going through, and to have somebody say, oh yeah, I know exactly what that's like. And they actually mean it because they did go through it, and they share their experiences with you. Like, for example, going to Lunch Bunch and sitting there with a group of people who have gone through the same thing or having issues and being able to talk it out. It's amazing. And it's a life that I didn't think was going to be possible when I lost my vision. And that's something that the Valley Center has given back to me. So I'm forever grateful for that. And just to let anyone that's going through vision loss know that this place is here for them, and there's people here that know what they're going through and that can help them, not just, training wise, but also, as a support system.
Well, I don't think I could have said it any better than that, Vanessa. Quite honestly, your story, the more and more I learn about it, inspires me, not only from my own personal dealing with my sight loss, but as being a part of VCB, and now you are too. You're also an employee. But we have the opportunity to be that light, to be that backbone, that voice, right? That shoulder if needed, to help people through theirs and sharing these experiences. And what you just shared, like, I don't think I've had anybody answer it in that way yet, Ray, right? I think that was deep.
That was deep, and I hear that, and I agree with it. It's in this, that aspect of that support is always there. We want to also, we're a training agency and employment agency, but at the end of the day, when we look at our 50th anniversary, we're thinking back of it. The agency started as Friendship Center for the Blind, and the first thing that we did there was we were a support group,
community
in the community, and we continue to carry that on in our legacy here. So
yeah. Work without community is just work, right? Like we grow, I think, the most together.
Yep.
In community. Vanessa, I want to thank you for coming on today. Your story is amazing. And any last words before you go?
Thank you for having me. But I really, the Valley Center is, like I said, I'm truly grateful for everyone here. Not just for the training, but for being a family and a community. And I encourage anyone out there that's suffering from vision loss or blindness to check us out if they haven't, because, this place is life-changing. It really is. And it can be life-changing for anyone. So it's definitely a resource, but it's also a community.
Awesome. And a big shout out to Crystal.
Yes.
Crystal, continue to do your amazing work. And, there's nothing wrong, Vanessa, about rewarding your podcast host strawberry pizza at any time that you want to.
I've never had one of those. That sounds good.
Yeah, dude, just inside, right? Because, again, the benefit of being here in the office every day, Ray, she would come in and I would get to try a lot of the stuff she cooked. And strawberry pizza, dude, I'm going to tell you right now, that is it.
No, right?
You got to love sugar. It's sweet. But let me tell you, it is bomb.
I love strawberries and I love sugar. So good combination. Awesome.
Well, again, Vanessa, thank you for being here. Ray, as always, we're hammering out another one, and this was a good story. This is a good ILS story. Everybody at Valley Center for the Blind that works here, that contributes to our community calls, AT, ILS, thank you, because you're hearing it first here from a client, now employee, the difference that we actually can make in people's lives. And we just got to continue for another 50 years, hammering it out.
Yes.
All right. Till next time, take care of yourself and each other.